Hello, hello. This is Chris Barron for the 2nd of September. This is Wednesday. Let's have some fun. Let's see what's what. Today we're gonna talk about a few things. We're gonna do some design reviews. We're gonna talk about working more, how we can work more, basically do more designs, and a couple of other things. Let's jump straight into it. I think most people want to see the screen sharing. So let's jump into that right now. Okay, there you go. Now you should be able to see my screen. So let me know if you can see my screen. Should be good at this point in time. If you want to tell me something, just write in the general channel on Discord. If you're watching on YouTube, please leave a comment and a like and all that jazz. Okay, so let's have a quick look. We have a few things that we're gonna go through. But before we get into some design reviews, I really want to point out why it's really important to use mockups. So in the previous design contest that I hosted for $20, I asked for a mock-up, and I know that some designers didn't understand why that was important. Here's one design from my home country, from my city, that should clear this up. This is why you should use a mock-up. Basically, when you want to print something, when you want to create any type of ad, any type of banner, you should snap a photo of that specific place, and then you should use something like the pen tool or something like that, and obviously create a shape of sorts and use that as a clipping mask. So basically what you have to do is you have to insert your design into this slot right here and see how that would look like. By doing so, by placing your design in its place, you're basically gonna see if the fit is gonna look right or not, if it's gonna fit right or not. Now, what tends to happen is people just start a new project, they create a design like this was the case right here, and they don't care. So this is one of the biggest issues. If you don't create a mock-up, if you don't go to that specific place and you don't snap a photo, this is what's gonna happen. So whenever possible, please use a mock-up. So this is the first thing that I really wanted to get out of the way. And this is not specific to my country or my city. I've seen countless situations like this from all over the place, on Reddit, on Facebook, and whatnot, all sorts of design mistakes from big brands, from big companies. So because of that, I think, again, use your best judgment and see what's what. Now, let's move on to some design reviews. This is the first one. We're at 100%. And as you can see, this is quite narrow. And it's narrow because the total width is only 960, which is quite a big problem. Someone is saying that she can't see my screen. I'm guessing that you guys can see my screen. Is the screen sharing okay? As far as I know, it should be fine. Right, so yeah, seems it's good. Thank you guys. So let's have a quick look. Now the logo is way too small. In general, you'll see that loads of clients will request their logo to be huge, right? Way oversized. But in this specific case, this is way too small. So I would definitely make it a tad bigger. This is what, 120 by 48. So this is tiny, no matter how you cut it, this is way too tiny. So I would definitely do that. Now, again, we're at 100% here, and this free shipping, this is incredibly small. This is probably 8 pixels. Let's have a quick look. Free shipping. This is how I like to check things. Let's go with Arial, though it really doesn't matter all that much. Arial regular, I would say this is 8. Let's see. Oh, yeah, probably. If it's bold, maybe it's 9, maybe. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, I think this is 9. So 9 pixels in 2020, sorry, nearly 2021. This is not acceptable. So this is a clear-cut mistake. And probably what happened here, probably the designer worked like this. So he was way too zoomed in, probably at 200%. And obviously he could read the text. I'm sure that he figured that it was a bit small, but he said, you know what? Leave it like that. I think it's fine, right? So yeah, this is a huge mistake. But the biggest one is this thing right here, this menu. This should not be here. I'm not really sure what's behind it. I'm guessing probably additional menu items that aren't all that interesting. But for the mobile versions, that's the only place where this makes sense. For desktop, this is out of the question. And I highly doubt that this is for the mobile or this is the tablet version. So because of that, this is a clear-cut mistake. You should never use hamburger menus because this is the official term, hamburger menu. You shouldn't use it on a desktop version. Now, the biggest problem that I have with this design, it's not the sizing, it's not the navigation, it's the lack of a clear call to action. So if we have a quick look here, we can see that we have a search feature, we have a cart feature, and an account feature. So this is an e-commerce store. And because we have order now, we can obviously assume that this is a shopping experience, that we have to buy something. Now let's assume that we want to buy a bike or whatever, the helmet or whatever. So let's see if this makes sense. Let's see if this is a good experience. Cyclers, isn't it cyclists? I know that my English isn't fantastic, but I'm pretty sure that cyclists. Cyclers see considerably more of this beautiful world than any other class of citizens. Okay, now I'm not sure how this makes me want to purchase a bike from this specific brand. So this is just a general statement. It's like me telling you guys, wow, designers are so special. Designers are the best people. What does that do to you? Does it make you feel a bit better? Yeah, maybe, sure, probably. Does it help you make a decision, make an informed decision? Does it help you buy a bike or whatever, a helmet or whatever this is? No. So this headline is a wasted opportunity. And the simple fact that there's no button to speak of in this entire design is incredibly worrying. I'm not really sure where you've seen something like this, where a website doesn't have one single button, but well, actually we do have one right here at the bottom. But yeah, this is an absolute terrible e-commerce experience for the simple fact that there aren't any buttons. Now, that's another thing. For whatever reason, designers think that very large photos, they make a big impression. That's not the case. These photos, they don't do you any favors. These don't help your design. On the contrary. Now, we're in this specific position, in the hero position, you may say that this is pretty good. Right here is where things really go off the rails. And have a look here. Why is this part important? Is this part critical? Does this give you any significant information? What about this part right here? Nothing. So what I'm thinking here is probably the designer didn't use a clipping mask, because if you use a clipping mask, if you just create a rectangle like so, and then you clip the photo inside it, you're not gonna have this issue. You're immediately gonna cut away any excess space. But this right here, this doesn't make any sense. Now again, I know that you guys probably realize that this is a bad design, but why it's a bad design is really important. Because again, I really feel like we have to make sure that we understand why these decisions have been made. We have to understand the thought process, because it's really easy to blame the designer and say, okay, he's not experienced, he doesn't know what he's doing. But the thought process behind it, that's really something where I think there's a lot of value behind it. For example, again, this part at the top, probably he worked like this, right? And for you, that's really important, because you have to remember that you have to use Control-1, right? So this is why I'm speaking about these issues, because again, we all know the website is terrible, but why it's terrible, that holds a lot of value. So let's see what else. Freshly available, latest gears, custom fits. No more. This is something that again I feel loads of designers make this mistake. When you have two items that are left aligned with a third item, so in total 3 items are left aligned, the fourth one has to be left aligned as well. So this needs to be moved on the left side like so. This is very important. Let's see what else we have here. You know what? This typeface, this is actually pretty good. I think this is pretty good. Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure that this English is not right. Custom made probably. tailor-made, bespoke. This is what the designer probably wanted to say. Another mistake is the fact that this is pure black, which is something that I constantly talk about in my courses. Never use pure black because it looks too harsh. Let's see what else. We can see that probably the designer struggled with finding great photos. These photos, they're modest at best. Probably the client didn't provide any photos. So I think, yeah, he just used Google most likely. Let's see. Very small photos right here that don't do anything. The problem is, again, this is a shopping experience. And again, leaving all the design decisions aside, there aren't any prices. You don't have add to cart. You don't have any reviews. So that doesn't make any sense. Again, how are you supposed to make a purchase if you don't have any information regarding the price, regarding the reviews and whatever, right? Just have a quick look on this specific website, which is huge here in Romania. It's the local Amazon. And again, you have the price, you have the discount, you have the number of stars, you have loads of information regarding that specific product. You can't just show, categories of products alone. You can see here we have some categories, right? Mobile phones, tablets, laptops, and whatnot, but we also have some actual products that you can buy. So this is essential. In a shopping experience, you have to make sure that immediately when the user arrives at the website that he can make a purchase, that he can see some of the best sellers, some of the best products from that specific website. So again, the lack of that information, add to cart, the price and the reviews, I feel that's mandatory no matter the product, no matter what it is. If it's clothes, if it's food, if it's whatever, right? Electronics, you have to have those specific things. Now, here's where it gets really tricky. This is the shop, right? And you can see whatever the, new items, latest gears. Okay, that's pretty good. But then you have the same layout right here. And this is probably from the blog, I'm guessing, right? Is this? Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is, let's see, terrain, adventure. It's not clear, right? It's not clear. It really doesn't make any sense. And then regarding the club, Strops, I'm not sure what this is. Now, again, there is something to be said about having a niche product, having something so specific that you cater, that you want to talk only to those specific people, right? Because again, if I start any type of conversation and I start to talk about smart objects and clipping mask and adjustment layers, you guys are probably going to know what this is about. But what tends to happen is those people that don't know what those terms mean, they're gonna immediately leave. They're gonna feel overwhelmed and they're gonna leave, right? And it's the same thing right here. When you use words that don't make a lot of sense, when you create a layout that's specific for only those little bit of people, for that specific niche, again, what tends to happen is loads of people are gonna leave. Now, I think that's about it regarding this specific website. I really feel like this is just all over the place. It doesn't make any sense. Let's move on to another design. Now, this is for a website similar to Udemy. Now, regarding this look and feel, the colors are pretty nice. The color scheme is pretty good. But there's one specific thing that really stands out, and that's the oversized components. Everything right here is oversized. So you can see that the text layers are absolutely huge. This is what? Let's have a quick look. Coming soon. I would say this is, let's try 60. Nope. Let's try 90. Yeah, so about 80 pixels, right? Now, this is way oversized. You shouldn't go for these specific sizes. Now, what happened here was probably something like this, right? Probably the designer used Control-0 or something like that, or he just worked out at 50% or something like that. So when you look at 50%, this actually makes sense. But this actually makes sense for the flyer. This makes sense for the brochure, right? But for the website at Control-1, again, this is for basically for blind people, for people who can't see well. Now let's have a quick look here. Regarding these social media icons, I actually spent one dedicated lecture, I think about 8 minutes or so, where I just spoke about social media icons. That's in the Adobe XD course. Now, the best way to go about it is to make sure you use icons that are from the same set. And what I like to use, I like to do the following. Just create one simple circle right here and then place the bird, over it. That's the only thing that you have to do, right? Just like so. This is the best way to go about it, because if you go for this route, all of a sudden now they're gonna look they're from the same pack, right? So this is the easy way out. Just create 5 circles and place the icons inside, and that's how you're gonna have a much better look. Okay, let's see what else. Obviously, this icon is completely different from these three, so it really stands out, and that's not intentional. The logo again is beautiful, but again, there's solid research that indicates that when you don't left align the logo, it gets less clicks. So it's pretty clear that most users prefer this right here to be moved on the left side. It's, for whatever reason, it's clear cut. I'm not really sure where I can find that research and send you the links, but I'm 100% certain that there's clear research that says you should always left align it. This is for desktop versions. For the mobile versions, you're totally okay with centering it, but for desktop, 100% left aligned. Login and free trial. Now, this is yet another thing regarding hierarchy. Regarding these two buttons, which one is more important, login or free trial? Regarding the company wants sales, the company wants customers, right? So if you're the owner of this website, which one would you rather people click, login or free trial? It's free trial 100%. So because of that, you have to make sure that this stands out. You have to make sure you make it more important. And you can do that in 2 basic ways. You can basically make this a separate color. Just make it whatever, let's say orange or whatever. Just make it a different color, right? Whatever, red, whatever. It doesn't make much difference. So make it a different color. So it's pretty clear that the red one stands out more. Just looking at everything as a whole, that stands out more. Or the second thing is you can leave it like it was, like so. But instead of login as a button, you can just demote it. You can just make it a text layer, right? Let's make this white, and just write log in, right? And that's about that, right? Obviously a smaller one and without the caps lock, you get the idea, right? So that's one of the things that you can do. Now, let's see what else we have right here. The main menu. First of all, again, the research shows that you shouldn't take away home. I know that you may say, okay, you can just click the logo if you want to go back home. But again, solid research says that the home item should always be present in the main menu. The second thing, I really like how this is done. This is very simple yet effective. I think it's a good look, but the menu gets lost. Ideally, what you should do is create another line like so right here, and that should give you a better look. Now, obviously, it should be thinner than that, but yeah, maybe 50% or so, something like that. But yeah, something like that will probably work better. Obviously, this is one of the worst things right here, plus this part right here. Now, the reason behind this pixelated illustration is the following. The designer used freepik.com, but he didn't have Adobe Illustrator. Because he didn't have Adobe Illustrator, what he probably did was he dragged the JPEG, and that was that. And the JPEG was probably low quality or quite small. He resized it, and thus, obviously, this is very pixelated. Now, you should never submit a design with any pixelated photos. That's, design one-on-one. You shouldn't submit anything for a review where you have these pixelated items. Here's another thing that's really interesting here. We have completely rounded buttons, but right here, I'm guessing the designer used an older version of Photoshop, probably CS6, or CC 2014, I believe. And in those older versions, if you resize the button, the corner radius doesn't adjust. It remains the same. So if you have a corner radius here of whatever, 20, right here, when you change it, it doesn't follow suit. It doesn't get updated automatically. So because of that, this is not completely rounded. So this is a clear-cut execution mistake. And again, it's probably due to the fact that um, uh, the designer used an older version of Photoshop. Let's see what else. We only have 10 minutes to go, and I wanted to speak about loads of other things. This part right here, you should never use the captions. You shouldn't do that. You should use a colored overlay right here, so the button stands out more. And plus, again, research shows, I'm sorry that I'm quoting this so much, but I've actually read up quite a lot on the UX side of things. Because at the end of the day, that's what matters most. What can you do as a designer to increase, to make the user's experience better? And again, the research shows that what you have to do is, even though we recognize that this is a play button, you should still have something that says click to play the video. Click to play video, something like that, right? And because you have a colored overlay, this being white, for example, should stand out quite nicely. Okay, now watch out video should not be here. So again, this right here is important. Click to play video. This makes sense. This is an instruction. This shows you what you have to do. This is a clear direction. Click here to start it. This should tell you why you should watch it. Find out why we're the best. 5 reasons to use Thrive. 5 reasons to whatever, right? See what makes us different. Something like that. So that's what you should do about it. Basically, in all your headlines, you should try and sell the course. You should try and sell the platform. So unlimited courses. This makes sense to start and scale your business. So this headline makes sense, but this right here again doesn't make any sense. These are called the USPs, and I think you know about them. Unique selling points. So you have to tell the user why you're different, and you have to do that in every single position, in every single area of your design. You constantly have to show again why you're different. Now, okay, let's move on. Popular courses. Okay. Okay, so again, this doesn't make all that much sense, and again, this is a designer that didn't do his research. If you think about Udemy, right? Udemy has loads of courses, thousands of courses, right? And it's probably the case here as well. At the minimum, you're gonna have at least what? Let's say the bare minimum, what? 50 courses, 200 courses, 500 courses, no matter the number, you can't showcase one single one. You can't showcase one single course unless you have a platform like I have, where you have one course that covers all my materials. You can't showcase one single course. So again, if I'm the contest holder right here, and if I said, hey guys, create a design for me, I'm making a Udemy-like platform, create a design for me, this immediately gets you disqualified. So assuming that everything else is pixel perfect, right? This is crystal clear. The sizing is well proportioned. All the elements are great. The social media icons, the main menu, assuming everything is great, this thing gives it away. This thing shows me as the client that you have no idea what this is about. This tells me that you have no idea, that you didn't research, that you didn't do your research, that you didn't go on Udemy, on Skillshare, or on whatever platform, because if you checked those platforms, you would have seen that at all times you have at least what? Let's have a quick look here on Udemy. How many courses are being showcased? Look, we have 5 here, another 5 here, and then categories here. So really, it doesn't make any sense to just showcase one. Coming soon. What is this? A new course that's coming soon? Again, doesn't make sense. And Dreamstein, man, using Dreamstein in 2020, nearly 2021, it doesn't make any sense for the YouTube video. I mean, you can find a freebie video player just about everywhere. It takes 5 clicks, 2 clicks to download one. So this is quite disappointing. This part right here, on the other hand, this is done quite nicely. This is lovely, actually. So this irregular shape, this is great. Is this stolen from someplace? Because this is night and day considering everything else, which doesn't make any sense. So the designer who chose to use a pixelated photo in the hero area, the most important part in the course, he managed to create this part, which is actually quite nice. I'm a bit surprised. I'm a bit surprised. Now, I would probably reduce this space right here. Let's have a quick look right here. Probably something like that. This would be a bit more buttoned up. And what I would probably do is I would probably shrink it just a bit. And I would not use Helena Baron. This is my name. Interesting. And I would not use the same all caps text transformation. It's not a good look. One or the other, not both. And again, you can see here that this is probably medium or semi-bold and this is regular, right? You need more difference between them because this looks like a mistake. It doesn't seem like this is a headline and this is a sub-headline. Only when you zoom in real close. But if you're just a regular user, if you're not a designer and you're looking at it, whatever that 100%, this feels like something is off. Plus again, way too much. So 1, 2, 3, 4 items in all caps, way too much, not a good look. Now let's see what else. From what I know, developers hate this type of thing. It's really a pain in the ass to create, this part right here and then this part right here. So from what I know, this is very difficult to implement, and most developers, will just put this image in a rectangle and that's that. Because again, it's not really worth the effort. And when you factor in mobile devices, this is probably going to be a pain. Now, I'm assuming a lot of things. I'm not a developer, but being around loads of developers, I know they complain quite a lot about things that, they're not worth the effort. Because this can increase your budget by, let's say, 20%. Is it worth it? No, not really. Could you just use a rectangle and be done with it? Yeah, totally. Now, regarding the footer, again, what I like to see right here is smaller text layers because not a lot of people are actually using these. If you check on Google Analytics, you'll see that not a lot of people actually scroll to the bottom and actually use these links. The reason why they're here is for the SEO purposes, for search engine optimization. I would say that it's probably 70% for search engine optimization and only 30% for the users. So that's quite a small percentage. So because of that, you shouldn't use it. And another thing regarding copyrights, you should always use the current year. It doesn't matter if this is their existing website and you saw 2007 on it. Use the latest year, so 2020. One other thing, always use hints in your search fields. I really think that's an important thing. You have to, just a hint is gonna completely transform the way this looks. I strongly believe hints are much needed, even though you obviously know what to write here because it says right here the first name, so there's no one particular reason to write John Doe here in a washed out gray, but it just looks better. And because of that, I think you should do it. Obviously a bit more washed out with something like that, right? But again, I really feel like it makes a big difference. Just like that, right? Okay, beautiful. Let's see if we have something else right here. Yeah, just one quick one. Just 1 minute. When you use these types of photos, you have to make sure they're appropriate. This looks like a cheesy stock photo, and because of that, the entire thing is just outdated. It feels 2005 like. And again, the inclusion of the Mac just compounds that issue. This is a very outdated design that should not be used anywhere, on Facebook, on Behance, on whatever. So web design written in this fashion doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Macs in general are incredibly overused. So my advice, go for something abstract, go for something very clean. I mean, literally, I would prefer something like this, just something like that. Just to clear the one solid color, pretty saturated, that's it. And then nice typeface, hi, I'm Chris, whatever. Let's go with something like whatever. Maybe something completely oversized, like 200, right? Okay, hi, I'm Chris, I design things, whatever. And this could be written in another font, let's say Nunito or whatever. Okay, something like that, maybe black. Okay, and maybe smaller. So I would much prefer to see something like this, right? Obviously having the same width. This is such an improvement versus this other one. Because again, this one feels 2005 like, and this is exactly the type of thing that you wanna avoid. You don't want your clients or your potential clients to see yourself like a designer that's stuck in the 90s, right? So going for something extremely simple, like a beautiful typeface, you know, maybe obviously let's go with doses, maybe doses extra light. This is a nice one as well. And then maybe something like 80, right? Or maybe something like including this in a rectangle of sorts, right? And then whatever. So just something very simple, very basic. Again, you don't have to complicate things, right? This is the type of thing that I would like to see, or maybe something like this, right? Where this is cut off, right? Again, you don't need a lot to make a decent cover image. So again, versus this, I would much prefer something that you do in 2 minutes that has this type of clean look. And obviously center it or whatever, right? On the, and that's it, right? Now, let me know in the comment section in the general channel if you have any questions. If not, we're gonna talk on Sunday again. Remember, there's a $20 contest. You can read it in the hashtag contest channel. All the rules are there. It should be an interesting one so far. I haven't received a lot of entries, so this is a quick $20. Just do your best to submit a few questions, 10 questions regarding Photoshop, and that's that. Yep, yep. So that's about it. Thank you guys so much. I hope you've enjoyed this conversation. I'll see you on Sunday the same time, so at 6 p.m. Bucharest time. I'm not sure why I'm telling you that, because it's not like you know what Bucharest time is. Anyway, this is Chris signing out. Thank you so much. Have a good one. Bye for now.